Some of the test motorbikes name, especially the exotic ones, it's a pretty big problem for me how to pronounce. For example, this motorbike is just in this category, so I asked my friend Google to help me. How do we say it?
Seiemmezzo.
Once more, please.
Seiemmezzo.
So, Seiemmezzo. So this is the newest Moto Morini model, and the name is also written on the side of the bike, this Seiemmezzo, and it is meaning 6.5. It is written on the bike on several places, here on the side, on the fuel tank as well, so you can see it always while riding it, and also in the passenger seat it's printed at 6.5. And if you forget it, how to pronounce Seiemmezzo, just write down 6.5. and everybody is going to understand which motorbike are you talking about. The new Seiemmezzo started its career on the market immediately with two different models, but the differences are not from the technical side. All the differences are only optical ones. This is the scrambler version, and there is it is written SCR, and there is a STR, the stradale, the street version. That's a typical naked bike, and this is a typical scrambler motorbike. The differences are not too complicated. The front mudguard, here on the scrambler we can see a lifted up mudguard. On the stradale it is a normal mudguard, just close to the front tire. There is a small aerodynamic element above the dashboard and the front lamp. The wheels are different because here we have spoken wheels, while on the stradale version we have normal alloy wheels, and the seat is different, and there is a passenger keeping possibility on the scrambler version, which is not seeable on the stradale. The engine is already a good friend of us, because last year we already made a review about the new Moto Morini Escape, and this is just the same block. It's 649 cubic centimeters. This is giving the 6.5 name. As I have already mentioned, and this is an inline two-cylinder, liquid cooled with 8 valves, and the main numbers is 54 Newton meter is the maximum torque, and 60 brake horsepower is the maximum power output. And lots of you can easily say that 60 horsepower, what is it good for? But honestly, I have to say that this motorbike as a naked bike for the today normal public roads here in Hungary, it's more than enough, and I think it's more than enough everywhere around the world, because you cannot ride a stronger bike normally on the public roads than this. Because when you are riding on public roads with the 60 brake horsepower, then the knowledge of the bike is enough, because you can always accelerate away from any kind of traffic. On normal outside of the city roads, you can overtake any kind of car inside the normal, not even the legal, but a little bit over the legal speeds. It's not a problem to overtake a truck or a bus or anything else, even if you speed up to 120-30 kilometers per hour. And last year I was using the Escape for several days and several hundred kilometers, so from that bike I know that the traveling speed, which is absolutely without any kind of stress on the bike, it's easily 140 and 50 kilometers per hour. And especially that the Seiemmezzo is a naked bike, then this speed category will for your body also be more than enough. Luckily, Moto Morini didn't save too much money on the suspension. All of the suspension elements are coming from Kayaba. In the front we can find two 43mm wide upside down forks, and the compression and the tension can be changed on the two telescopes differently if you are not satisfied with the factory settings. I didn't try anything else, so I was using the bike only on the factory settings. And in the rear we can see a central suspension unit positioned nearly lying on the right side of the bike under the seat, and the tension you can always also change if you are not satisfied with it. But anyhow, although now we are in February, which is winter here in Hungary, so I didn't ride too much on the limits with the bike, but I can say that this suspension is really making its job good, because it's relatively comfortable on the very bad and poor quality Hungarian roads. So in the poor quality sections it's a little bit feeling too hard, but this is a naked bike, so this is not a touring enduro. We cannot wait that comfort from it, and the behavior of the whole suspension, especially in the curves, is absolutely positive. So it's lying down very easily, keeping the line very well, and the whole feedback of the suspension is always very clear, very positive. So this bike, especially for beginners, it's a very good choice. The brake system is coming from Brembo. In the front we can see two pretty big, nearly 30 centimeter discs, and two piston calipers, nothing magic, so not four pistons, no radial calipers, nothing special, but it's doing its job absolutely perfectly. The bike is not heavy, the Seiemmezzo is, the dry weight is 200 kilos, so this front brake system is absolutely enough for it, and luckily the clutch and also the brake levers position can be changed very easily with this small wheel. I had to change its position when I took the bike, and since I changed the position of the lever, the dosability of the front brake for me is really perfect. In the rear wheel we can see one brake disc, of course, and with one piston caliper, but with this part I had some problems, because it's giving some not too nice noise, and also the dosability was absolutely not good for me, so I didn't really feel the feedback of the rear brake, especially when I was making narrow U-turns with it. Then it missed me a little bit, but the Seiemmezzo, so the test bike, is absolutely new, so it's easily possible that this rear brake problem will be solved after some using. On the Seiemmezzo, the seat is really looking beautiful. The height of it is 81 centimeters, which is meaning that this is going to be good for most of the riders. The very short ones are going to touch the gravel a little bit more problematically. And it's also looking beautiful, especially this brown color, and with these screwings and everything else is really a real beauty, this seat. And the whole body position is also we can say really good, because the handlebar is very wide and very much lifted up, so you can really sit very relaxed and very comfortable. Only for the guys and girls with long legs like me, the relatively high positioned foot pegs are going to cause sharp knee angle like this. But anyhow, this is not uncomfortable, but we have to get accustomed to it. The only thing which is not the best, I think, is that the seat itself is a little bit too hard. If it would be a bit softer, then it could be really, for longer distances, a bit more comfortable. The dashboard is a full digital unit, nothing special, but it knows everything. Very designed, Seiemmezzo 6.5, you could see everything, and Moto Morini and everything else. And then we get the dashboard, which is a relatively, or I say absolutely enoughly informative piece. First of all, we have a big RPM counter, and always the closest number is bigger than the others, and the already left number is always white. I show you how is it working. So without checking where this small red thing is, you always know for the first flash that in which gear you are with the bike. And we also can see the range of the bike, the amount of fuel we have, the current speed, the temperature of the water, the cooling water. We see the overall distance and daily trip counter. That's all of the information, and of course the gear indicator. And with these buttons from the left handlebar we can change the menu. For example, we can go down to the trip and change the trips between trip 1 and trip 2 and reset them and things like this. And we can always also connect to our mobile phone, receive the phone calls through the bike, play music to our helmet, for example, if we want, and we can go to the settings of the bike. Here, for example, we can check the bike info. We can check it also while riding. So for example, we can go in and see a lot of information, for example the exact tire pressures of the bike. And as we can check it while riding as well, we can always see the speed and the gear indication. And we can, for example, beside many other things, we can go to the display menu, where we can also change the picture of the dashboard. This was the stradale picture which we were watching until now, but now I change it to the scrambler one, and I go back here, and you can see that here is very dry unpaved tarmac, and this is showing that this is the scrambler picture. The informations are all the same, only the design and the position of the information are a little bit different. The biggest weapon of the new Moto Morini motorbikes, of course, beside the technical knowledge, because the technical knowledge is an absolutely enough package for the public road riding, but beside this, the biggest weapon is the price. I know the price is in euro now in 2023, the beginning of the year. The stradale version, which is the normal naked bike, let's say, it's 7,450 euro, and the scrambler version is 7,750 euro. So all of them are, I think, one of the best price of the market, and in the knowledge of the bike there is not any problem. So all in all, with the price and the technical knowledge, the whole package is, I think, a very good choice. And one more positive thing I would like to say, that you can buy the Seiemmezzo with a limited power for those who have only an A2 rider's license, and then the limiting is happening only with the software changing, and that's why when you make it stronger again and you lift up the power to 60 brake horsepower, that's a very low cost. So for example, if you are too young and now you have only an A2 rider's license and you buy this bike with a 48 brake horsepower limit, then when you get the normal A category rider's license in a few years, then you don't have to change a motorbike. It's only a software changing like this. Of course, you have to make a new exam for the bike, and then you can use it with the overall technical output of it. If you liked our review, please push a thumb up on it. In the description under the review you can find the link where you can donate our work. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe for our channel and watch our previous contents as well, and thanks a lot for your kind attention. Bye bye.